It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in theaters, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors, beware as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
You're awfully chipper. And also, we have the Merman. Bring it down a level. Hey, Mur, you're wearing a heart t-shirt. What's that about?
That's right.
Did you go see him?
I went to see. I did the show.
Yeah? Did they lock you outside this time, or could you actually watch the show?
No, we were backstage, but they moved us about 4 times because the security guards are idiots. Oh, you can stand here. No, wait, you can't stand here. No, go stand there. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Just let me stand somewhere.
Let me stand somewhere.
Did you get to sing Barracuda?
I did not.
Huh.
I did hear Crazy on You.
Oh,
Yeah?
there you go.
Did they play, they
I was only there for
obviously...
the last 20 minutes of it. But yeah.
What'd they do for an encore?
I can't remember.
Oh, Merman, I count on you for this information. The
Yeah.
people want to know
People
what
wanna
Hart
know
played
about
for
all
an encore
People
in
can go
Calgary.
see them in concert then.
Talk about progressive, though, because wasn't she in a wheelchair?
She was in a wheelchair with
Nice.
an oxygen tank.
That's,
Yeah.
you know
But
what,
she's
that's
still,
dedicated
but she
to
was
your
still
craft.
wailing at altitude. So
Nice.
She's on an oxygen and still can wail.
that's right.
You know
Cool.
what? Kudos.
Absolutely.
I've heard it was a good show.
All right, so with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
Well, thanks, Wellbin Sportings. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still dare us to see a terrible film, and we'll watch it if it played anywhere in the world in a cinema. And we don't care what genre. And we did get dared this week. So,
Oh boy, did we.
did we ever? Now, let's dance our way out of here and get to raging. With amazing moment.
Predict.
With amazing moment.
Predict.
Will you predict or will he predict a mondo? Will you tell us all what Jim and Bryce saw at the movies? Here he comes now, kids better watch out. This merman is swimming too.
Ooh.
Disney style, Disney style.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Disney style, Disney style.
Swim, Murray, swim.
Disney all the way to hearts are lit. Hearts are lit.
I'm too tired to hate that song. Yeah, so we did a double feature last night.
Yes.
And we did, as in my industry calls it, a short turnaround.
Yes, it was a short turnaround.
But in some provinces and states, it would be illegal to bring you back to work 8 hours later.
Except you still would have had time to make a poopin'.
Yeah.
Make the poopin' thing.
The poopin'. Yeah, so the first one we saw was the Alto Knights, starring Robert De Niro and Robert De Niro. And maybe another Robert De Niro. I don't know.
Possibly there could
I
have
don't know how
been.
many. There were so many in there. I don't even know.
Was Eddie Murphy in it?
Eddie Murphy was not in it.
Oh.
Well, maybe he was.
Maybe.
He's a master of disguise.
He is a master of disguise.
But no, I did not see a lot of African Americans in this film.
Yeah.
Just a lot
was
of
there
Italians.
Was there any African Americans?
I don't remember.
Was there any diversity in this
There was
film
just a
at
lot of
all?
old Italian dudes. Yeah, I don't know about this one. It's Robert De Niro times 2.
So you get double your
he's
pleasure.
Double De Niro.
He's an old.
That's like double
geriatric,
money.
Senile old gangster times 2, and yeah, it's based on a true story, but on real people. I think you guys probably didn't like it very much. I barely liked it, so let's go double rage.
Do you remember what I said to you midway through the movie? So this is like the gangster version of Grandpa.
Oh yeah,
War with Grandpa.
yeah, war with Grandpa. Yeah,
So,
it was a war with Grandpa, except there was 2 of them. Yeah.
Except you didn't get the one big laugh like you got in the
That's
War
true.
I don't know. There were a couple of big laughs. in
Those
this one.
dogs in mink coats were pretty funny.
The
Were
dogs in mink coats, all the old Italian dudes running across the field, falling all over themselves. That was pretty damn funny. Yeah. Next up, the big movie, Snow White.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs?
No,
Oh.
it's just Snow White. They forgot that there were actually other people in this.
Yeah.
I was there with you guys. And,
Is there a prince in it?
No, there was
Prince
not.
is not in it.
The prince did not come,
I
so to
wish
speak.
Prince music was in this though.
Yes. I
Exact-
wish Prince was in it. I mean,
Should-
he'd
should
still
have
be
been-
alive and still making music.
there
That'd
you
They
be
could
go.
have
awesome.
CGI'd him. Everything else.
I don't
was
want a
CGI.
Yeah,
CGI
I was there with
I want
these
the real
guys,
Prince.
and Jim made us see it in Screen X because Bryce had never seen Screen X.
I've never
before.
experienced Screen X.
No.
I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be extremely disappointed with you both if you don't pull the rage on this. So yeah, it's a whole lot of rage this week.
Nice. What are we talking about? The Alto
Alto
Knights.
Knights.
Alto
Now,
Knights.
it's Knights as in like Knights, but there was also
Can.
like a restaurant or something that was.
I'm pretty sure the
Alto
restaurant
Knights.
did have the KN, didn't it?
Yeah, it was not knights as in knights.
It was like
knights as
created
in
in the-
knights of
It
the
was like
round
the
table.
1920s. It was like Lucky Luciano and Bugsy
Because
and
it's
all
just
those
called the
guys.
Alto Knights because of the restaurant, Jim.
Oh, you mean
Their
they,
restaurant was
That's where they
called-
hung out.
That's where they hung out. Even though they never hung
They
out
never
there.
hung out.
They never
there
hung out
through
They
the
hung
whole
out in
movie.
like candy shops and
Yeah.
were
With me old
turning,
ladies in
turning
the front.
poor kids away because they want
Yeah.
to buy some candies. No, these two old men are having a little
Having
bitch session.
Confab in a candy store by themselves.
Exactly. So, well, Robert De Niro did something I never, ever thought was possible. He outdid John Travolta when he played Gotti by making a 2 times worse film about gangsters. I mean, when I was dared to see Gotti back a few months ago, I swore I would never see as bad a gangster movie.
You're saying this is gaudy bad?
And you're probably saying, but Jim, you know that Scorsese will probably make another gangster film. That's pretty much all he makes now, even if it's an indigenous gangster film. But instead of Scorsese, we get Barry Levinson directing Robert De Niro, but we get him playing 2 roles. And if you're thinking, oh yes, double the pleasure, the answer is no, it is not double my pleasure. I mean, what the fuck were they thinking by casting him in 2 roles? He's obviously the same person. His younger version of himself and his alter character look nothing alike, but as he ages, they look exactly the same. Is that like married couples as they get
they hung
older?
out a lot,
They
so
look
they
like
started
they're-
looking
Apparently,
the
Al
same.
Pacino was busy.
Apparently. Or what's the other guy that's like Al Pacino that's, what's his face?
you're
Andy
the-
Garcia?
I was mixing him up with
Yeah,
Andy Garcia.
I don't know why.
Because they're all terrible now. It's like they all have
Because
the
they were
same-
both in Ocean's movies.
Maybe. You know what? It's just, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so they look nothing alike. And when I say boring, I mean this film was boring. There was nothing interesting about anything that happens in this movie, and at no point did I care about one character or one thing that was happening through these 2 hours. When I say sheer torture, I mean sheer torture. The only thing that I remotely liked, which I've already mentioned, is the 2 little dogs wearing mink coats. This was an exercise in frustration where we basically have 2 characters that don't even feel like gangsters who work for the mob, where apparently the mob is made up of one person under the age of 70 plus, and the boring and uninteresting and, did I say completely boring? Like, this is so boring rage of a film. And I mean, how did they get hits done in this? Are we to believe that an 80-year-old glasses De Niro is, and I'm putting in heavy quotes here, gangster enough to beat someone to death behind a hanging laundry sheet?
Well, he had
And he's
help. He
wearing-
wasn't there by himself.
Yeah, but he was doing all the work. And obviously,
The other guy was holding
I think I
him
was
down.
holding them back.
he's too
He
old.
got old man strength.
He's got, oh yeah, super old man fine. And then he's wearing glasses. He's not wearing glasses. He's wearing glasses. He's not wearing glasses. He's wearing glasses. He's not wearing glasses. And then
wearing
he's
a top
wearing
hat. He's
glasses.
not wearing a
And then
hat.
he's not wearing glasses.
Yeah.
I didn't know who was who in this. Man, this was crazy. I couldn't tell the difference. When he was wearing glasses, thank God they had glasses. Because otherwise I wouldn't have had a fucking clue which De Niro we were
character?
watching
Vito-
at any given time.
Vito was more like
Was he?
Sicilian. He was darker.
You know what?
He was more street.
What this was probably the worst gangster film I've ever seen since the Flowers of the whatever that Scorsese directed. This is horrible. Why are they making gangster movies? They're all terrible. And then to make this something that is actually based on true life, it's just like, this was horrible. Like, just make a documentary or get a different person to play De Niro. Like, it's fucking stupid. Why did they do this? This is what De Niro, if he dropped dead tomorrow, is this what he'd want to be remembered by?
Legacy?
By playing the same... this is horrible. I hated this. And when I say hated, I mean hated. And I don't even like gangster films. But this was worse than Gotti for me. At least Gotti, I could laugh.
Worse than Gotti?
I could laugh at John Travolta. I could laugh at John Travolta. That was funny. Watching John Travolta play his same self 17 different times in Gotti, where he's the same. He's like 20 years younger, but he looks the same. And then he's 20 years older, and he looks the same. And yeah,
man doesn't age.
This was horrible. I don't know. What did you guys like this?
What do you think of it, Mur?
Okay, you go next. Okay, then. Geriatric gangsters. If you take De Niro's character Jimmy Conway from Goodfellas and De Niro's character Sam Rothstein from Casino, age them both about 30 years and then throw them back together again, you get Alto Knights. This was directed by Barry Levinson, a well-respected Hollywood legend. It was written by Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote Wise Guys that the movie Goodfellas was based on. So this should have been good, right? I mean, it was based on real people. Frank Costello and Vito Genovese were real gangsters that were part of Lucky Luciano's group all the way back to the 1920s. Their boss, Arnold Rothstein, was actually the genius behind the Chicago Blackhawks scandal to throw the World Series. This gang also included Bugsy Siegel, who basically founded Las Vegas, and Meyer Lansky, probably the shrewdest gangster of all time. Okay, history lesson over.
Wait, can we just talk about your history lesson first? Did we get any of that really
No, we
in
did.
this movie?
And I've seen several movies and documentaries about these four guys, and yeah, this didn't really go over.
Yeah,
that
or when
much.
we went to the
This was like
Gangster
what's left
Museum
over when everybody else dies or goes to prison.
Like when we went to the Gangster Museum in Vegas.
Yes, the Mob Museum. That was pretty cool. What we got with this film was a bunch of over-the-hill, soon-to-be irrelevant mob gangsters that don't know how to survive in the new world. Do we get a bunch of mob violence and blood in the streets? No. Instead, we get treated to a bunch of fat old Italian guys running through the meadow trying to escape an even older sheriff. Between that and the completely incompetent sidekick who couldn't even pull off a mob hit and is obsessed with the Mormons of New Jersey.
That was actually a good scene.
So stupid. I actually liked Deborah Messing, who was solid as Frank's understanding wife. She kind of reminded me of Ingrid Bergman, who I adore. So as much as this film was a boring ass gangster rage, watching all the old fat guys scatter and fall down repeatedly made this a very low meh.
What?
Yeah, I got some joy out of some parts, but yeah, it was as gangster movies, it was terrible.
Did you just pull a Bryce?
I may have.
You laughed for 2 minutes and then it turned it from a rage into a meh?
The last 20 minutes was funny.
What happened to our Murray from last week?
And oh, believe me, it's coming with the next movie. But yeah, no, like the last 20 minutes was ridiculous because it's all the gangsters of the whole freaking country come together and then they get caught and they try to escape. And it's just so stupid.
Yes, I agree. That movie was stupid.
Yeah, it was almost a rage. But yeah, I enjoyed some parts of it.
Murray, it's not almost a rage. Honestly, I didn't think Robert De Niro was bad in this. I actually thought his performance was fine. As you mentioned, his performances as both. I thought they were both fine. I bought them as two different characters. I wasn't with you at all. Like going who's who. I think you're making a little much of that.
No.
One was definitely darker skinned, and
one had glasses.
No, they were. They all talked. They both talked completely different. So I don't know what you're talking about there. To Murray's point, Deborah Messing was actually the the shining star of this movie.
Which I never thought you'd ever say.
Yeah, because I do not like this lady at all, but I've never seen her actually try and act. And, you know, even though she didn't have a whole lot to do in here, she did all she could with this role, and she was very good. Catherine Narducci was good too as Anna. The
loudmouthy one.
The loudmouthy one. It was like the two ladies. I would have rather watched a movie about those two ladies, to be honest.
Why didn't they make that movie?
Than these two gangsters.
Oh wait, they were under 70.
But this was an odd movie. It was Barry Levinson trying to. He's like, okay, I'm going to do something really clever here, and it wasn't clever. It was the same as every other movie. So, you know, he starts with an incident, and then we backtrack, and then we go forward, and then also, then he's like, okay, this will make it really good and authentic. We'll put clips of Robert De Niro as Frank Costello in it, like a talking head documentary style, and cut to him every now and then and have him narrate over some of this stuff. And nothing worked. It was all so boring. Terrible and boring. And I'm just watching it. I'm like, oh, how can you make a gangster movie where this little happens? I don't care about anything. And we didn't get, like, I'm not as well versed in the game as in the mob as, say, Murray here. And I was a little lost. I mean, I know these guys, but some of the situation, I'm like, so why is this happening? Like, I didn't even know. And maybe it's my ignorance on that part, but you don't have to spoon feed me stuff, but at least develop a character or two. Instead of just putting up some caricatures and having Robert De Niro go over and overreact to stuff. I don't know what to say other than this was just a hard rage. I hated this movie. Barry Levinson's fallen off a cliff. I mean, it's almost like I don't even know the last really good movie he made. Maybe Wag the Dog. I don't know. It's been a while.
Okay, so let's just have a quick chat here. He did American Sweatshop. Oh, he produced that. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he did that.
Let's get the productions out of that. Okay, so he did Bucks County, USA.
Why don't I remember this movie?
Yeah, The Survivor. Do you remember The Survivor?
No.
All right. Do you remember The Wizard of... Oh, sorry, that was a TV movie. Rock the Casbah with...
I remember that. Yeah, it was meh.
It was meh, yeah. The Humbling.
I saw it. I don't remember it at all.
Do you remember who was in that?
I think wasn't that Pacino?
Al Garcia.
No, it was Pacino, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
The Bay.
The Bay.
Yeah, which is horrible.
I don't even remember.
You don't
the
know
Bay.
Jack?
Yeah, that was the Jack Kevorkian thing. I didn't like it.
Yeah, and Hollywood.
He was like in love with De Niro, though. Man, he made a lot of movies.
Yeah,
with De Niro.
he made What Just Happened, which has De Niro in it.
It's and Pacino. Sorry, I was actually saying I was thinking Pacino and saying De Niro because that's kind of what I do these days because they've meshed into one weird old man.
Well, don't forget.
Yeah, and he did Man of the Year with Robin Williams. That was awful. But I don't think he must have had back-to-back Mez in there somewhere.
He's more miss than hit, is what I would say.
Well, but then you get down. If you keep on going, like all the way, let's see, boom, 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 analyze that is awful.
Yeah,
he was an executive producer, sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you go down to like Wag the Dog and before, like Bandits was awful, but you haven't gotten to Wag the Dog yet. You know, once you get to Wag the Dog, then all of a sudden Sphere was awful, but we haven't gotten to Wag the Dog yet. Okay, Wag the Dog, good.
Yes.
Sleepers, really good.
Yep.
Disclosure, not so good.
Yeah.
Quiz Show, excellent.
Yes.
Although no, sorry, he was only an
didn't direct
actor.
it.
Sorry, I'm out to lunch.
You're doing what I just did.
Yeah, I am.
You know what? Suffice to say,
Jimmy Hollywood, terrible.
Barry Levinson is not what he used to be.
No, I didn't even mind Toys. I didn't even mind Bugsy.
Well,
that was a much better gangster movie.
We can stop talking about Barry Levinson.
We can, but now I'm rolling.
No. We can.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
It was excellent. Rain Man. I gotta watch Rain Man again because I have such fond memories of it, but I have a feeling it wasn't as good as I
you
remember.
don't like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like Tom Cruise.
You don't like Tom Cruise?
Well, I think he's an awful actor, if that's what you're saying.
That's what he's
You
saying.
don't like,
Oh, okay, then I don't like Tom
any of
Cruise.
his movies. So yeah,
Well, no,
that's
I
what
think
I'm saying.
I liked.
Rain Man.
No, I like Tropic Thunder.
There you go. Probably his best movie. All right.
Easily.
All right, okay, let's move on because you know what? Murray's generosity got this that we don't get to press buttons that remind us of how
believe me,
horrible this movie
I'm
is.
not done. Yeah, there's rage a-coming.
All right, well, let's
but
easily
one of us might
transition.
not rage on the next movie.
That's right, the next one.
Then I will just walk out because I'll be so disappointed.
All right, okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Snow White in Screen X.
There was an elephant in that movie?
Yeah, probably.
No, because there was no woodland creature angrier than a deer.
The deers weren't that angry.
No, but there's no wolves, bears. They're in the forest. You never saw them.
But for some reason, there was a hedgehog. Where
There
the
was a
hell did that
hedgehog.
come from?
Yeah, it was a hedgehog.
So adorable.
Yeah, who like right at
hedgehogs.
the end too, curls up into a ball. It's like, what the hell? Are you
Well, he did that when we
did
first introduced him to him.
That's
about all he
rolled into
did.
the ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
he just like balling it up.
Where was there a hedgehog ever in?
Well, at the
Snow
beginning
White?
when she met
No,
the critters, yes.
There's no hedgehog in
In the
the
Yes.
original.
Oh,
probably
okay. Let's not. This, you know, we
go
can't even
there.
compare this to the original.
Well, no,
So-
because it's not. So why did they even do this?
Yeah,
Write a new movie.
Yeah, good
All
idea. So, what are the things that I like?
You
about
couldn't win with
Scream?
this movie.
Yeah,
If you're faithful to the original, it's terrible. And if you're not, then you've just wrecked a classic, and it doesn't matter. Which isn't a classic in my opinion. But
Stop
you
making them.
You can't do it. You can't do any right. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so what are the things that I like about Screen X? Is it that the sides are blurry and not as clear as the main screen? Is it that you have side screens? They're not fully white. So in the film, you see the huge red fire alarms and the 4 exit signs.
Exit signs.
Or maybe it's that they aren't on all the time as the movie plays. They just come on when something is going to be a surprise. Oh, wait! This makes nothing a surprise. Okay, enough about Screen X. Why was this film even made? That is the question I have every time Disney decides to do
Even more so this time, though.
Yeah, even more so. And why did they wait this long? They've redone almost every other movie as live action, and they're going to take the very original full feature animated film and turn it into a live. And I you have to put this in heavy quotes.
Wasn't it like
live
the first one Disney ever
action.
did?
Yes, it's the first. Well, it's the first full length cartoon
that they ever did. Yeah,
that I think anybody ever did. Like Steamboat Willie was like a
short,
short
yeah.
right? So, and they call it live action, but we have CGI dwarves and animals, especially with how awfully, and I mean awfully designed these dwarfs are. They just look like cartoons. Wait, was this actually Snow White, or was this Who Framed Roger Rabbit 2? Because that's what it felt like. You have live action people.
That's what they all feel
in
like,
with
though.
cartoons. Then it went from being the original plot of Snow White, which probably was the first, I want to say 2 minutes of the film. And then we get a bunch of new horrible songs and what is more like a romance novel without the fucking. If the love payoff at the end is nothing like the original, then that took place in the woods, because they seem to be wandering around the woods for God knows what reason or why, and the animals and the dwarves are following them everywhere.
Yeah.
Where's the witch and the motherfucking apple? That took forever to happen.
yeah. It was at the last 20 minutes. Yeah.
Which, it's like this is another overwoke story that we never needed from Disney. That was not good. I didn't need or want it. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I always try and find, who is this movie for? Like I'm really trying to grasp that when something comes out. And the only thing I can think of is that, they weren't happy about how, like, they're on this new kick where, women power, and,
Independent, yeah.
they're trying to, I guess, again, woke everything in this. And, like, it just, it has no value to it. So I'm trying to figure out who would go to this movie and say, this movie was for me. And I'm thinking maybe 9-year-old girls. And if I said 13-year-old girls, then I would ask Bryce what he thinks. But it was more made for 9-year-old girls, because I don't think even a 13-year-old girl would say, what? You know, this was a horrible rage. I wasn't raging as much as in this, because I was laughing so much at watching Bryce watch it.
Oh, that was worth the price of admission.
Yeah, that itself is worth Bryce falling apart. I want to say I set my timer. It was 7 minutes in.
7, I thought it was.
And Bryce lost.
Started
losing his shit. This movie was horrible. I would say it's equally as horrible as Alto Knights. Don't see either of them in cinema when they come on VOD ever. Just avoid these two films. But in particular, do not ever see anything in Screen X. Except for next week when the new movie comes out, we'll be watching in Screen X. Yeah. Or if we can watch it in IMAX 3D, even better.
IMAX 3D.
All right, Mur, what you think?
I'm going to keep this short because I have a lot to say about this later on. Spoiler alert. CGI dwarfs. Scary CGI woodland creatures. Horrible, smarmy Disney-fied songs. There was so much to dislike about this film. Oh yeah, and Jim made us see it in Screen X. Spoiler alert, as I said, I'll be discussing this in greater detail shortly. And seeing as I'm the only one to actually stay awake for the entire length of this film, I am definitely qualified to give it a hard rage. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Yeah. I don't even.
He's without words.
You know what I'm gonna start with? I'm gonna start with, like, there were so many bad things about this movie, but I'm sorry, but Gal Gadot as the evil queen.
The ugly evil queen.
What in the heck was that? That was not good.
No.
But she sings.
Yeah.
Twice.
She sings better than she acts.
I was going to say, I was actually impressed with her singing.
Yeah, it's
if
like
that was her.
It's like they wrote,
that was her.
They wrote a few new songs and decided, okay, we're going to make a Snow White movie around this. It's not really like the original, but sort of like the original. We're going to get rid of the prince because you can't have...
Because he's useless anyway.
Because you can't have a prince rescuing anybody.
Because he's a stalker. Weird.
You can't, so we're going to take the original story and not make it anything like that, except we're still going to keep the dwarfs for some reason. I mean, if we're changing stuff, do we really need to keep the dwarfs
but not real ones
that don't have any contact with outside society and are just a little cocoon and they're just little weirdlings that go to work every day and then go home?
Like Dopey.
But it's fun.
It's like if we're changing stuff, why aren't we changing that?
Well, okay, so let's just talk about their mining exposition. Or expedition or whatever they were doing.
Yeah, they turned coal into diamonds.
Well, wait, they go to do diamonds, or they hunt for gems, which there's millions of them.
But they have magic.
So why don't they have a stand somewhere? Like, where are they selling these things?
Well, on top of that, they worked for an entire day from sunrise to sunset, and they didn't even take any of them out with them when they left.
No,
they just dig around
and we got piles of diamonds. So I mean, they're set for life.
I think there's like an edit scene that we're missing where they were like all jerking off on these jewels or something.
I don't know what's going on.
I'm sure there's some evil merchant who's taking all of their diamonds and selling them.
But they worked an entire day and came out of the mines with nothing. So what exactly were they doing in there for the whole day?
Who are they doing this for?
They made a point of
Who are they doing it for?
Well, at least in South Park with the underpants gnomes, you had the underwear, then you had the question mark, but then you had profit.
Yes, so they were making money.
We don't know how they were making the money off the underpants, but we knew there was profit.
Yes.
With this, what was the point?
Well, I still can't figure out. They worked an entire day and they're rolling around in gems.
Yeah, and how are they eating? Because they work all day. So who's farming? Who's like? None of this makes any sense.
And the people in the kingdom are all starving to death because of the queen, and they have like diamonds in the in the mines.
Yeah, anyways, it was the whole thing was very, 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 very bad. I like even if you're gonna make a Disney film, at least even the landscapes and everything should like something should pop, and nothing did in this. It was
Well, the castle looked kind of familiar. Isn't that at Disney World somewhere?
maybe.
Or is that Cinderella?
Was this
I
an
don't know.
advertisement?
I don't know whose castle
Well,
it
it's
is.
Cinderella's
Well,
castle at Disney
Yeah.
World.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's Cinderella's castle.
Do you need to say anything more about this?
Not,
It's just
not really. I mean, it's.
My question is, how much of it did you actually see?
I stayed awake through the whole thing.
I don't know. I couldn't see over Jim.
Yeah, no, I
Hear
stayed
over
a-
his snoring.
No,
but
yeah, Jim was snoring a little bit. It's
I
almost as
needed
if
to.
if you're gonna do this, make it more cheesy, make it more over the top. I don't know, like do something that's interesting. There's just,
cast somebody bitter.
but to sit there and handcuff yourself by saying, "Oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. If I do this, I'm gonna get backlash," and then you go and do something to get you backlash anyways.
Yeah.
Like it's just a mess of a concept. It's an absolute mess of a concept.
they're all
So
horrible.
it's a hard rage.
nice.
But thank God I saw it in Screen X.
That's right.
Yes.
And sat right against the wall on the right side. Even
doesn't
though
matter,
our
Murray.
entire row was empty, but
it doesn't matter if you're in the center
I don't know if
or
you
the right
liked it any
side.
better,
it's still
but-
blurry on the side. So who cares?
It's like going to IMAX or sitting in the front row.
Front row at the very far right.
Yeah, the very far right.
Which is fine.
No,
They
it's
wouldn't
not.
sell the seat unless it was fine,
But
would
it's
they,
meant
Murray?
To see in a big screen, and you got to see the whole screen, not just the
I
one side
did
of it.
see the whole
Yeah,
screen.
You missed
You
us.
missed.
I just had
You-
a slightly
you missed-
different angle.
You
missed-
missed the top
You,
right.
you missed a lot of blurry stuff
Yeah,
on the right
top
side.
I just look up. It was right there.
Right.
If I would have stood up, my head I would have been in the movie.
Needless to say, Bryce did not enjoy the Screen X experience. But just you wait, brother. Mission Impossible's coming up.
Yes.
You know that's going to be in Screen X.
Totes.
Not for me.
All right, now it's time.
You're gonna bring the joy, aren't you?
Oh no! Well, maybe
What?
for you, maybe for you two. I don't know anybody else. This week I'm gonna be doing some raging. I'm sure you can guess what I'm talking about. It's the new Snow White live action remake. I absolutely did not want to see this, but Jim, as I said, made us see it in Screen X.
Yes.
Trust me, seeing this piece of trash in 3 screens did not make it better. I'm making it my personal goal to badmouth this movie to anybody who will listen, in the hopes that Disney will lose so much money they will stop making them.
Oh, it's gonna lose money.
Oh, it already did. It cost $270 million to make it. It made 40 mil this week. And with all the bad word of mouth, it's not making any more. Yeah, so not like you need more reasons to hate this movie, but I'm going to give you some. First off, Disney spent $270 million on this film, yet another live action remake of a beloved classic. The other remakes have been mildly successful at best. This time they decided to redo the most well-known Disney film ever. Rachel Zegler as Snow White.
I liked her.
Yeah.
It's no secret I can't stand this woman.
I don't
I
understand.
think she's a shrill,
She was fine.
empty-headed moron who can't act.
Wow.
Maybe I'm alone. She also sports a horrible Lord Farquaad haircut. Just saying.
That was intentional because that
Yeah,
was
no,
like, she
just
was
saying.
punished because she was
Yeah,
forced to have
apparently.
that hair.
She's
And apparently
in
the hair never grows.
Yeah.
Well, you just keep you can
They just
cut
keep
hair.
cutting- the queen just kept cutting.
Queen
her
just
hair
keeps
that
coming
way.
back and cutting it.
'Cause
every
they
time.
don't want her to
because
look
she
sexy.
wasn't. She can't be
can't
the
be a-
fairest one of all.
So she
Trust
has
me,
to give her Lord
I'm
Farquaad.
Just warming up.
God.
Gal Gadot as the evil queen.
Yes.
The biggest problem people have, besides her terrible acting and bad line delivery,
Yeah.
is that she is so obviously more attractive than Rachel Zegler.
I don't agree
who's
with
supposed
that.
to be fairer than her.
I absolutely think she's fairer than her.
No, she's not.
Gal
Got
Gadot-
that big old mole on her face.
Gal Gadot is not as attractive as you guys make her out
She
to
is.
She used to be a
Well,
model.
she's had 4 kids.
be. I don't. So what?
David Hand, the son of the original director from 1937, has completely trashed this film.
Way to go,
He
David.
called it insulting to the original and said that both Walt Disney and his father would be rolling over in their graves. He
Yeah,
has
but
a
they
point.
were racist old white men.
That's
so-
true, but still.
Yes.
Now we come back
their
to the
opinion.
star, Rachel
Oh,
Zegler.
Murray.
In many interviews, Zegler has openly criticized the original film. She
Yeah.
called it sexist,
It was.
outdated,
It
Yeah.
was.
and described Prince Charming as a stalker.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Not once, but over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So good
Every
for her.
time
Yeah.
she opens her mouth, she pisses off more people.
Not me.
She's just telling the truth.
Then we got
Sometimes
changes.
the truth hurts, man.
Yeah, whatever. You're in love with her. Changes.
I'm becoming more in love with her as you're talking.
Changes to just listen to her interviews, and trust me, you won't be.
All right.
Changes to the original story. In the new film, Prince Charming is just some vagabond thief that she comes across.
Yeah.
We're supposed to believe they fall in love immediately, and that she doesn't need saving. Snow White in this film is some kind of kick-ass action hero. Now, this may be an unpopular opinion, but Snow White and the Huntsman did it a whole lot better,
No.
and she had a Hemsworth.
That was also a horrible movie.
I loved it.
Well, I mean,
Social
it
media.
did have fine actress in it.
That's right. Charlize Theron.
No.
I think we could get in a lot of arguments about that.
We
movie.
could. I liked it because it had Hemsworth in it. Bad production values. For a movie that cost $270 million, they should have spent that money on better effects. The CGI and green screen effects were so awful it was distracting. The woodland creatures, not to mention the dwarfs, all bad. And yeah, no real dwarfs. I guess they're called little people. I'm sorry. First, Disney thought it'd be a good idea to replace the 7 dwarves, not only from the title, but from the film. They wanted to go with 7 regular-sized magical creatures.
I would have liked that. Actually.
Yeah.
After Peter Dinklage went off on a tirade, they decided to replace them with CGI dwarfs. What this did was take 7 jobs away from Hollywood's little people community.
Yeah.
Who obviously could have done the job.
That's true.
I don't think
CGI
there's 7 they could find. That's
Who
would
a
do
bigger
it?
problem.
I know there's more than 7 in Hollywood.
Is there?
There must be.
I would challenge you to find 7.
I don't know.
And that's Peter Dinklage's biggest problem.
I can
is
think of,
that-
I can think of 4 or 5.
And I would wager that Peter Dinklage wouldn't be
Wouldn't do
within
it?
1,000
Wouldn't-
miles
because
of
of
this
this movie.
project. So
Wasn't
you're
he
down
he already
one.
played
Yeah.
one in some movie he played.
Elf.
Was it Elf? No, it was something else too. Anyway, the CGI was so bad for these characters, the faces were worse than the ones from Polar Express that came out more than 20 years ago. I thought technology was supposed to be getting better. Finally, the overly complicated story. They tried to update the original
It's
with a
overly
more
complicated?
independent main character and make it more like real life.
Okay,
It's a fairy tale!
that's true.
Would have been okay if the
Ish.
story had more adult themes, but it's still a story for 6-year-olds.
9-year-olds.
Do yourself a favor. Avoid
No
this
one.
film unless you have a bunch of toddlers that are attracted to flashing lights and smarmy songs. It's not worth your time. Oh my god, this movie made me rage so bad.
Nice.
All right.
Now you know how I felt watching the Alto Kings.
There you go. I'd still rather see mobsters than woodland creatures.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
All right, so there's a lot of obviouses that I could bring out for what my rage might be this week, but I think you're going to be a little bit surprised as to what my rage is this week. So I could rage about Snow White and the whole fact that it exists, I could also rage about Screen X and that it actually exists. I could also rage about the Alto Knights and the fact that it exists. But the thing that's going to make me rage this week is that the one pure joy that I had seeing Snow White in X was watching Bryce's reaction
Meltdown.
to watching it. That was the only moment of joy I had from our
whole night.
from our viewing this week. And trust me when I say there's more rage a-coming, people. There is more rage a-coming. But what I will say is my rage this week is that I didn't get the same reaction from Bryce watching Snow White that I should have got from the Alto Knights. I mean, I was squirming in my seats the entire movie as the Alto Knights is playing, so I got no pleasure from watching Bryce stand up and sigh and roll his eyes and wander around the cinema, and we even had that one to ourselves. We should have had a hell of a lot more Bryce
There was like
wandering around.
There was like 4 people
tripping balls through the whole Alto Knights. So my rage this week is, Bryce, please be consistent. If you're going to rage about a film and wander around and make my pleasure, like super pleasure actually, then please do it through both of our horrible movies we have to watch. That's my rage this week.
Bryce didn't rage enough.
He didn't get my pleasure circuits going.
Alto Knights was bad, but you know.
It was as
just
bad
boring,
as Snow
Dad.
White.
It wasn't so bad that I was squirming. It was a rage, but
It was as horrible a rage for me anyway.
yeah, I know. That's your prerogative.
It's true.
Bryce is busy typing something.
He's searching ChatGPT.
Oh, is he?
Maybe.
Maybe they wrote the script to Snow White.
Maybe. All right, what you got, mister?
My
Oh, before you do this, can I just say that your dog is making a great foot massage right now for me? He's like warming up my feet.
yeah, he's
Just lying there as I rub his back.
He's a good pillow.
he's a giver.
Yeah, give her all right.
Yeah, he's a good dog. Yeah, my rage this week is Screen X, and it's bigger than Screen X. So it's once again gouging us for more money to give us an inferior product that does nothing but take away from the movie that's on the screen. I don't understand all these gimmicks. I hate them all. The only gimmick that's acceptable is putting it on a bigger screen
IMAX,
with
baby.
better sound.
Yes.
That's fine. I got no problem with that. But when you start throwing me around in a seat, or you light up the walls with stuff that you can't even make out what the hell's going on, and it's not even jiving with what's going on the screen, because the proportions of the people are different as they flow from the wall to the screen, and then from the screen back to the wall. And
Out of focus, in focus.
They go from being thin to being a little bit pudgy to being kind of a blob. It's not acceptable. Like, why are you charging me more for this? Everything that they seem to be doing seems to be taking away from the actual movie. What happened to sitting back and watching a movie? I don't understand the gimmicks. I don't understand trying to turn it into an amusement park ride. I don't understand having the sides light up. I don't understand any of it. It's all, the gimmicks nobody's gonna go to this and go, oh, I gotta go Screen X every single time. Nobody's gonna go get their spine jarred by a D-box and go, oh, I gotta do this every time. I'm gonna spend $8 more or whatever the heck it is for discomfort and just taking away from the entire experience. It's all distraction. Like, I guess it's because maybe the movies that they're putting in these theaters aren't very good. So they're trying to distract you with all this other crap.
Maybe.
Because basically every movie I've seen in one of these gimmick type deals has not been a good movie. That seems to be the thing. So that's a way to weed out the movies from now on. If you see that it's playing in Screen X or D-Box,
Or
just
AVX.
don't even go to it. No, AVX is fine.
No, it's
AVX is just bigger.
AVX is fine.
It's
Why am I
just
paying
bigger.
$5 more for it then?
A bigger screen.
Because it's a bigger screen and,
No,
and the
it's
sound's
not.
great.
yeah.
Whatever. Just stop, Murray. I was rolling, and now they've derailed my train of rage.
Whatever, you were done.
At the end of the day, though, stop distracting from the movie. If your movie's so bad that you have to gimmick it up, then don't make the movie. That's my rage.
That's very fitting.
That's the magic of Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're like magicians. They distract you by showing you bright things every year
Yeah.
from what
You
is
know what
actually
the
going
magic
on.
of Hollywood is just redoing old
That's
movies
also
into
true.
crappier movies. That's
Yeah.
that's the magic of Hollywood.
So once again, Bryce did not enjoy his Screen X experience.
No, it was
We've been
awful.
telling him for
Oh, I
over a
told
year.
him weeks ago.
I was looking forward to it.
I saw one once, and that was all I had to.
Yeah, me too.
It was the Harley Quinn movie.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
All right, the lists. So if this is your first time listening to us, please go to our website, filmrageyyc.com, and take a look at our page called The Lists. On there, you will find 5 categories. You will find the mesmerizing, the repulsive, the doubted, the undoubted, and the once mesmerizing, and who removed them from the mesmerizing. So we've been trying to get down our mesmerized list for some time, and this is one that I think must be a long time in the coming, because it's like an older movie. The
Well, because half the people on our list are like from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, because they've stayed mesmerizing. But we got the impeccable Gregory Peck versus the always impeccable Jimmy Stewart in How the West Was Won, a 1960s. I don't know. Is this a bio?
The 60s?
Bio something? Bio something?
No, it's based on a book, wasn't it?
I don't know. It
Yeah.
was like settlers in the Old West.
I just want to say that I was a little surprised because I remember seeing this as a kid, and I remember at the time.
1962.
Yeah, there we
I would
go.
have pushed in 50s, but
So the thing that surprised me the most about this is how slutty the women were. Like, it was like they were taking control. So maybe good on them for taking control. I want myself a man, and they just slutted it up like nobody's business.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
It was, and even Jimmy Stewart was a little taken back. He's like, huh? What's going on here? I'm like 50 and you're like 20. So what's happening here? Like,
Yeah.
it was,
they just wanted a good man.
yeah. I never thought I would ever say this, though, but I think Gregory Peck outperformed Jimmy Stewart in this. That's my opinion. I'm not sure what your thoughts
The
were.
hell you say?
I know. I
Yeah.
never thought I would ever say that.
Yeah, no, Jimmy Stewart came in this just going full on Jimmy Stewart, and it didn't really fit this role.
Yes, it did.
It was kind of odd. It was sort of amusing to watch Jimmy Stewart in this role, but Jimmy Stewart was a victim of being completely miscast for one thing.
Oh, totally.
Like this, it made, like, I'm sorry, but I do not understand the relationship. I do not
No.
nothing made any sense. Why is this no good one so and so appealing to anybody? I don't know. It made no sense.
Oh,
So in a bad movie, Gregory Peck was Gregory Peck, where you can always lean on Gregory Peck. And he was, if you're going to put these two side by side in this movie, which unfortunately they never were side by side,
No.
but yeah, Gregory Peck outdoes Jimmy Stewart in this particular case. And that's
unfortunate
for Jimmy, but
yeah.
I don't know what was going on with this particular role. I've never seen him like a fish out of water. And that wasn't, this wasn't a fish out of water story. He was the fish out of water.
Yeah.
This didn't make sense that he was.
But this
even in
movie
this.
is really horrible.
It is not a good movie. It is,
What?
It's got 4 directors, I guess. 4 directors, and Originally, it was filmed to get, like, if you watch it, it's you get this really thin band because it was filmed to be put on a special screen that's this giant curved screen. Like, it was specially
Wrapped.
So this was like a big deal because they're gonna put it on this giant curved screen and whatever ratio that happens to be. So if you're watching this, you know, on your high definition TV, you're gonna have the widest black bands that you've ever seen, top and bottom, if you're seeing an actual true depiction of what you were supposed to see. So watch it on a really big TV if you have to, but don't watch it. It is
Not good.
It is not good. It is so boring, and it's basically a bunch of vignettes, and none of them are anything. And
Not
at
telling
the end
us
of it, I
anything.
don't know how the West was won.
Nope. You know what? The only thing that we know and it wasn't because of the movie, how the West was won is because they just stole all the indigenous
just killed the
people's
Indians.
land.
Yeah, that's how what they did.
That's what they did. So
Then when they were all gone, they started fighting each other.
Yeah. But yeah. Sorry, Jimmy.
Jimmy, you know what? You'll
You
always
go.
have a soft place in my
Now
heart.
he will never get to go up against Katharine Hepburn.
Nope. But maybe Gregory Peck will. Who knows?
I don't know. They're in a movie together.
I would imagine they must have been.
I don't know. I couldn't find one.
All right, well.
All right. Well, what do you got for us for next week? Or anything
Nothing.
Yet? All right.
Nothing.
We'll take a break from next
I
week.
have one match left. If you want it, you can have it.
Well, might as well take it. I'm okay with it. Bring it on.
Jeff Goldblum
Okay, liking it so far.
and Robin Williams.
Really, what were they in?
My guy Robin. Something called 9 Months.
9 months.
Guessing there's babies involved.
Excellent.
They were in it together, and then I'm out. I got nothing.
I know I've seen it. I just don't remember
Oh, I'm
it.
sure you have.
It's got to be something with somebody having a baby.
Did you say Gregory Peck and who?
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff
Robin
Goldblum and
Williams.
Gregory Peck
Yeah.
in 9 months.
Gregory Peck was in 9 months too?
Exactly.
You said it.
It's Jeff Goldblum versus Robin Williams
Yes.
in the movie 9 months. Nice. All right.
Ah, so close. We got Gregory Peck and Audrey Hepburn. Not quite.
See?
Not quite.
And they're not
quite.
even related.
They're not even related.
related.
I actually just watched Roman Holiday in the cinema like a year and a half ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's an
1953.
oldie.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
Last week on Rage or Dare, our friends at Cinebijou Podcast dared the boys to have the Lord of the Dance himself slip-step his way into our ragey hearts with his film Blackbird from 2018. This week, it's Bryce's turn to Rage or Dare. Come on, Bryce. All right, I know I said friends of ours dared us to see Michael Flatley's opus, which he not only directed but also wrote and starred in. I guess friend may be a strong word to use until we hear how much pain they inflicted on our ragelings. I mean, this has all the makings of a monumental rage brewing. But then again, they don't call me Toe Tappin' Casey for nothing. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee.
Even has an Irish name.
This Blackbird, it's like the
It's
what is
It is.
the-
It is.
What is?
I
How did the?
I
what
don't
is-
understand.
Who's the why? It like
What was she doing?
And him and his shirtlessness and the
Yeah,
and
what was that? I'm gonna take my shirt off.
And then the when he's like, and then
I
the friend
don't know
is
what's
like,
going on.
what
is going on?
Was there dancing?
The mo-
I
just
this was I don't know what this was.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about what
Bad?
this was. So, first off, has anybody ever heard of Dance Lord Productions?
I think they've made one movie at least, Jim.
I
So
believe
apparently-
because he's Lord of the Dance.
So I
Yeah, but-
have no idea what this was about. I'm not sure if it's because the filming style is so made for TV or because everyone that opens their mouths are speaking in cryptic messages. I think to us, the viewer, but I'm not sure. I just know someone died. There is a pub, and then there's a church and a bunch of old people and random shots of people doing I have no clue what. But it's in Ireland, so at least it has a pub and a church, I guess, which was two things that made sense because it's supposedly in Ireland, I think. So I have no fucking clue what is happening this whole movie. I've never seen a movie that tells you nothing about anything and shows you a new cut to scene with the worst acting. I mean, the worst acting. It moved around from scene to scene with what seems like random things being said. And again, horrible. When I say horrible acting, I mean horrible acting. And then when Eric Roberts shows up, you're like, oh, right. If Eric Roberts is in a movie nowadays, you know it's going to be
everything.
It's going to be horrible. So I had no clue what this is about. I can see why some might say this is like Mike Flatley's Irish equivalent of The Room. I think that Flatley and friends were secret agents or something, but now they work on Fantasy Island after someone dies. And a young singer, I would say she's probably in her 20s, wants to have sex with a 60-year-old Flatley, but he's still grieving from something. Eric Roberts is the bad guy, and his fiance works for some secret service that Flatley and friends did, and she has no clue that she's been dating this guy for a year and a half, that he's a criminal. This has all the tropes of a James Bond meets Tommy Wiseau. It even had a card game and tuxedos, which made no sense. This film is so horrible. Like, I mean, Den of Thieves 2 type horrible, but it was kind of like Den of Thieves 2 horrible. I'm confused by the end. Blackbird, I'm putting in heavy quote, aka Flatley, just tells the bad guys, let go of the girl. So they do. Did I mention they had guns in their...
Because he's Michael Flatley.
They had guns in their hand and had dance shoes on, but then they let her go? And they have a shootout when they're holding guns, pointing them at them, and Flatley and his buddy that shows up randomly out of the middle of nowhere, and they actually win the shootout? So, Murray, here we go. I'm a gangster. I'm pointing a gun at you, and we're going to start a gunfight that I start, and then I can't hit you, but you can kill all of us.
Sounds reasonable.
Right? It sounds awesome. This movie was painful to watch. Like, I'm talking like Snow White painful, or maybe even the Alto Knights painful. This was like the most pain we've ever been inflicted on in our entire history of Film Rage. This movie, Cinebijou, I love you guys. You gave us so much rage to end this with.
Yeah, Michael Flatley is director, producer, lead actor. He can't do any of those things. He needs to just keep on dancing.
Just dance.
And you know what? He didn't even dance in this, Murray. He slow danced with two ladies. That's it. We got a few seconds of slow dancing. We didn't get dancing.
There were no knees up.
How do you have a Dance Lord production with no dancing?
There was slow dancing.
I was cheated.
I'm thinking the director miscast him.
Yeah, this was hard to watch. Nothing made any sense. You're sitting there watching it, and you're almost thinking, okay, this part makes sense because this lady's that's with this horrible human being that's, I don't know, he's got some, what is it, like a microchip or something that's gonna do something that's gonna bring down some government. I don't know what it is.
You know, at the end, who cares?
But you're thinking, okay, Vivian, you know this guy's bad, right? You have to know. I mean, you've been with him for so long.
But maybe the sex is good.
But then it's like she's obviously undercover right now, even though everybody left this, whatever this agency was, which I still don't understand. And why the other guy that left the agency, they ended up running a hotel together. Like, I don't know what's going on. But
it's most ridiculous.
Where were they even? Like, where was the hotel? It was
Ireland.
No. It was it was in some tropic paradise.
Oh, wasn't it Ireland?
Yeah, it was Ireland, the Caribbean paradise.
Anyways, the one thing where I'm like, okay, this finally makes sense, that she's obviously she's undercover. She's not just a total, and then it turns out she's not undercover at all. She's just a total idiot.
Yeah.
So like, even when he had an out, he didn't take it. The writing was so bad. It's like he just kept on writing, and it doesn't have to make sense. I just have to get to the scene where I'm in the bathroom and I take my shirt off so that people can see that, I'm a little older, but I'm not completely out of shape. Was that the point of this movie?
It was 100% the point of this movie.
This was really, really bad. Eric Roberts, my God, buddy.
He's got, we haven't talked about him.
Did you forget who his sister
I
is?
think we should, yeah, exactly. I think we should
she's
talk
fine.
about
She's
him
great.
next week on the list, because if we haven't put Eric Roberts on
We
our
can-
doubted list.
We can definitely talk
I
about him.
preview films for 2 different festivals, and I get to see 8 Eric Roberts movies a year because he's in everything
Nice.
Everything bad.
for like 5 minutes. Oh, there's Eric Roberts.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, he's just
Dude, just retire.
He's
taking the work.
gonna take out what's his name as the most acted actor by the time he passes.
Samuel Jackson?
No, there's the
somebody more than him?
Chinese guy that's
Oh,
in
the
every-
Chinese dude. Yeah,
What's
yeah.
his name? He's in every single movie that's ever
The
been
old,
made.
the old dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old dude. He's been old for like
James somebody or other?
Yeah, James Hong.
Yeah, but he's like 100 years old.
Yeah.
There
But
you
I
go.
mean, at least every time James Hong's in a movie, you're
He's
like,
entertaining, yeah.
he is
Oh, can I just
entertaining.
say, Michael Flatley, can you just wear a hat properly? My God, what is with this tilted hat? The entire freaking movie. Just put your hat on like a regular person, you idiot. Your hat's not even doing anything if it's on a slant like that at all times.
He's channeling Michael
He's
Jackson.
channeling idiocy.
All right, well, that's a good time. So, who do you want to pull from next week, little
I
mister?
think it's your turn.
It's not. So, you can choose the Merman's Ice Creamy Bucket of Rage, Casey's remake Bucket of Rage, or my succulent. There is something nice in
Don't we
here.
have any more fan ones left?
We've only got a couple left, so we're
Oh.
going to save those for us.
I don't know. I guess I'll choose from yours.
There's one in there that's big. What's that one?
Oh,
Probably
That sounds like a trap.
I'm gonna grab whatever I grab. Okay, so for Rage or Dare next week, I will be watching. I have no idea what this is. It's from 2005 and it's called The Wedding Date. I'm gonna guess there's a
Sounds
wedding in
joyous.
it, so that sounds good.
Nice.
Is this
So
Sarah Jessica Parker?
wedding date. I hope it's not. Oh, it's Deborah Messing. I just
Deborah Messing.
I just pumped her tires in the Alto Knights.
Now you're gonna pop 'em.
She's the only good part of that movie.
But also, it's got Dermot Mulroney.
And Amy Adams.
I
Yeah.
love my Amy
You know
Adams.
what?
There you go.
Who doesn't love Amy Adams?
guys, apparently.
You know what? There is a possibility that I have never seen this movie.
Oh, no.
Lucky you. Well, you know what? Your newfound love of
That's a
Deborah
special
Messing is
treat.
going to be tested.
That was like
Well,
back
this
in
was-
her,
this was back in the-
What was the show? Will
This
and
is in
Grace?
the way back time when she
The
was
way
not
back.
any good.
She was a TV show. What was the TV show? Will and Grace?
Will and
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah, it was around then.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Well,
Deborah Messing.
Deborah Messing, Amy Adams.
Back to back weeks, baby.
Back to back.
All right. And Dermot Mulroney.
Maybe De
Haven't
Niro
seen
will
him
show
in
up.
anything in a while.
Yeah.
All right.
That.
I don't know. Friends.
Well, thanks, Ragers, for listening. Thanks to the extended Film Rage family you can find in our show notes. Super, super, super big thanks to Cinebijou for daring us to see probably one of the worst movies we've ever been dared to see. Thanks to Casey from The Nerdy Photographer, the voice of Rage or Dare, and our God of Rage. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. Check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We're always wanting to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, dance, 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 and make us rage. That's it for this week. Rage on.
Rage on.